Hey, first episode of 2020 coming to you right from Bombay. How are you doing? Treating you well?
Yeah,
so
man.
Far?
So far so good. No complaints.
So far, so good. So what? So as everybody else in the universe is doing, let me start this off by saying this is episode Vision 2020. That joke would probably die its
I think
death of overuse.
I
Death
hope
by overuse.
I thought
this
it was
year.
dead by now.
It was
Considering-
dead like in 2019 when everybody started doing it. But now it's even deader. And I'm just beating it down.
Yeah.
Like a dead horse. But why do you only beat a dead horse? Why can't you beat like a dead, I don't know, bison?
I haven't seen too many bison to comment.
Have you seen enough horses?
Yeah, well, we're not too far from the horse racing course.
So yeah, this is Vision 2020. This is the episode in which we try and give out a list of all the music that's expected in this year that's yet to be released. And what we've done is we've kind of divided it into 3 sections. The first section is a section of albums that we've heard some sort of music from, and these are our top 5 to talk about from that list. The second section is pure speculation because we've only heard or we know that an album is going to be released or the band has started working on an album. So our top 5 expectations of that. And then the third section is essentially one-take reactions from bands that are expected to or are definitely releasing albums in 2020.
Yeah, and I actually just realized we last year called this crystal balling or crystal gazing.
Crystal ball gazing.
Yeah.
I like that term too,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Vision 2020 just makes it even more even more of a bad pun. So yeah, all for the bad puns. So anyways, let's get started with this. First up here is our list of or our short list of previewed albums already. So these are albums that we definitely know are going to be dropped in 2020 because there is a set date for it, or at least confirmation that the album will be released in 2020. Starting off with, in chronological order, so starting off with Sons of Apollo, who are releasing MMXX. What does that translate to?
I think that is
MMXX.
2020. I mean,
Is that 2020?
my Roman is not that good.
Yeah, neither is mine, but I'm guessing that is 2020. They've already released 2 tracks online, which is Goodbye Divinity and Fall to Ascend. This will be album number 2. It features 8 tracks, nearly 55 minutes of new music. It'll be released 17 January via Inside Out Music. And surprise, surprise, it has a 15-minute song to close the album, which is called New World Order, which is the most exciting thing I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest here. I wasn't too kicked about their first album. And
I hadn't heard of Sons of Apollo. So these two singles were my introduction to Sons of Apollo.
So I'd like to hear your reaction to it.
It seems like Portnoy's Megadeth to Dream Theater's Metallica.
I mean, it's a good way to put it because, like, the first album, just when you look at their entire personnel, you're just like all hyped, like, oh my god, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is a
and
super
it was
group.
like, but a friend of mine who's heavily into prog, shout out to him, Richard, he linked me because he's into them, and he linked me saying, oh my god, have you heard this single? So I was like, okay, I mean, why not give it a try? And then I heard Goodbye Divinity, and I was like, okay. Then I heard it again, and I was like, this is the kind of stuff they should have released on their first album. I mean, this is the kind of thing you'd expect them to put out, but yeah, man.
Maybe the first album just took a little bit of time for everyone to get used to one another.
Yeah, and you know, this is one of those things with the super groups, right? Is that you have the expectation, or you know that, you know, the band members come from certain bands, so you expect a certain sound. With this, I mean, you couldn't expect anything else. I mean, a 15-minute track, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, and it seems like this time, I don't know, but it seems from the videos and the communication that this is Portnoy's band as such. Am I wrong? Like, I don't know. You probably know a lot more about this band than I do.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, you do see him.
Like, he's the one giving the direction as such.
You do see him as the driving force to a certain extent. But
it definitely seems more energetic than the Dream Theater album.
oh yeah. This is exactly the way you described it, man. The Megadeth Dream Theater's
Yeah,
Metallica.
completely. So if you like some prog in your life, go check out Sons of Apollo. That's MMXX, releasing 17 Jan. Moving on, Sepultura are back. Sepultura will be releasing an album called Quadra, right? But this isn't their fourth album, as obviously you would know. This is album number 15. It has 12 tracks. It'll be released 7th February. They've released 2 tracks or 2 singles online so far. That's called Isolation and Last Time. And here's a quote by Andreas Kisser, who remains the only member of Sepultura who I'm actually interested in anymore. He says, and I quote, "On Quadra, we felt the urge to revisit that old thrash feeling of Beneath the Remains or Arise, only seen through the eyes of today. Add to that the tribal percussion, the orchestral elements, the choirs, the melodies, and the clean vocals, and you get a thorough run-through of our entire career, backed by a very contemporary approach." Now, this statement, right? This statement tells a fan that, hey, this is like our old shit. But do me a favor, go and check out Last Time, because that definitely doesn't sound like old Sepultura. This sounds like Sepultura going the way of, I don't know what.
Soulfly.
Soulfly.
I mean, it sounded
it sounded so.
I mean, we had this debate where I said that it sounds very new metalish, and you said, but yeah.
No, it weirdly enough, and this is a complete dig at Sepultura and also at Machine Head, because it felt like Sepultura was being trendcore.
Yeah, I mean,
like Machine Head is.
I mean, and I know all the old school Sepultura fans and stuff like that would kind of be on board with this, but
really,
yeah, I mean, saying no, be on board with the what we're saying.
With the thought, okay,
yeah, with the thought that they're being trendcore kind of thing.
Trendcore guys, yeah.
Yeah, with Last Time, because I've heard that. I don't remember hearing Isolation. The start of the song, you're like, okay, what's going on? But after that, it was just like, I don't know, man. I mean, I hope they just come out with an album that kind of shuts both our mouths for once.
Yeah, it's got 12 tracks, so there are 10 tracks left which we haven't heard, but I don't know how many of them will be ambient passages. I hope not, right? I mean, come on, you don't associate Sepultura with doing those kind of things. And honestly, the kind of statement that Kisser has put out definitely doesn't sound anything or doesn't add that statement and what last time is, it's like oil and water. It doesn't mix at all.
We still have 10 tracks to hear.
Hopefully it'll be a good album.
Yeah.
They don't need to come out and blow the world away by doing something weird.
Yeah, they'll still get the crowd. They'll get
exactly. Yeah. Who'll still want to hear Roots, Bloody Roots, and Territory and all of those songs.
Yeah. So.
Anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
The next one's actually something that I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, this one's Wellerthak's Splid. I hope I got that right. You say Quellerthak.
Potato.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the band has continuously on each album, on the first 2 albums, they've continuously included Quellerthak in the lyrics.
Yeah.
So that you know what to say. But yeah, still, whatever. Yeah. So Wellerthak will be releasing album number 4 with 11 tracks on 14th February. I'll make a nice Valentine's Day gift from the band. Thank you so much, Wellerthak. We really love you too. The last album was 2015's Natus Fred, and this album is called Split. So far, they've released 1 single online, which is called Bratabran. Again, I'm butchering the pronunciation.
Sorry, Norwegians.
Yeah. Kurt Ballou is behind the boards, and we've got the new old vocalist now.
Yeah.
Because he's been part of the band for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, those
energy-wise, he still packs it. I mean, there doesn't seem to be that much of a disassociation, especially after listening to Bratabran. What a fun single.
Yeah. I mean, those of you who heard the last episode know that I'm really kicked about this band, and I'd love to see them in India. So, hey, gig promoters in India, hear me out.
Wellerthak. They've got a reason to come. They've got a new album this year.
Yeah, dude. I just can't wait for 14th of Feb, or if someone is kind enough to send me the promo before that.
Send us the promo, get us an interview with Wellerthak. We'd love to do an interview with them. I specifically just want to ask them about, in Bratabran, there's this lovely part, or the best vocal hit I've heard in a very long time, when the vocalist essentially goes, air guitar.
Yeah, I mean, they're a fun band, dude. They're a fun band. And, I think to a certain extent, my theory is this is just taking a dig at all the, grim kind of black metal musicians and stuff like that. These guys have made infused black metal with punk and, the
It's
whole
black
thing.
and roll.
Yeah,
It's black and roll.
It's fun. It's
yeah.
fun.
They're one of the new era bands which will actually go on to have a pretty successful career.
Yeah. So
Definitely, because they've got a great sound and they have loads of fucking energy.
true.
And so far they've not got a bad track record. The first 4 albums, the first 3 albums, all 3 of them have been continuous repeats. Especially the first 2. The third one I didn't enjoy that much because I felt
think
they became too mainstream. But
I think at
on
one
this
point
one
they were even touring with Metallica, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've become,
Probably.
yeah.
I mean, they were they became this huge name all of a sudden, almost like a ghost, but they didn't have the gimmick as such. But album number 4, I think, will be a return to roots in some way or the other. At least that's the way Bratterburn goes. And oh my God, you should check out their behind the scenes videos, which are on their YouTube channels. It's hilarious shit.
I need to check that out.
Kurt Ballou looks like Ned Flanders now. Really, wow,
Oh my God.
that was the biggest. Oh my God, that's happening. Anyways, from Velartak, we'll move on to another band whose name begins with K. We're talking about King Diamond. Yes, the mighty King Diamond is back this year. We got a preview of what's expected this year too. Last year, actually, the album's called The Institute. And the first single that was released in late 2019 was Masquerade of Madness. This is album number 13. There's no track list yet, and there's no formal date yet which has been set for the release. almost 12 years later.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
I still remember when that album was released.
2007's Give Me Your Soul, please.
Kicked that he's back, especially after everything he's gone through with his health issues and stuff like that. And yeah, man. And plus, he's touring with Merciful Fate next year, Europe.
So that means pulling double duty.
Dude, I don't know how the hell he's gonna
pull that off,
stuff,
right?
But yeah, man, I'm really, really excited. I wasn't too kicked, to be honest, about Masquerade of Madness.
It seemed like a very safe release.
Yeah.
Right?
But then it gives you, it kind of intrigues you enough to okay, what the hell they're going to do or where they're going to go with this direction. I mean, you know that the album's called The Institute.
Exactly. And yeah, the album artwork kind of gives away the plot. You have a little girl whose head is wrapped up in what appears to be an iron mask.
Yeah, so
without any slits for nostrils or for the eyes. It's stuff that only King Diamond would be able to think about.
Yeah, man. So very interesting. Of course, I mean, with artists like him, you're always curious as to what he'll come up with next, and especially seeing the gap between the releases. He's got some aces up his sleeve, I'd say.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, so on YouTube there was this one comment which kind of pointed out that there are certain melodies which remind you of Abigail.
Oh wow!
Which I couldn't spot at first listen, but if that's an indication, or maybe it's just something that people really want. They want another Abigail out of King Diamond. They want an album that's that grandiose and that's that epic.
But then
maybe The Institute will be the one. We don't know.
Yeah, we can only speculate now. There is no release date, so
we'll wait and watch and see what happens. It'll be great to get him on the podcast.
It'll be one of those moments like,
oh my God, King Diamond.
Really? Is it you, King?
Is it? Yeah, like in podcast, does he do the hi?
No. I've heard an interview with his.
I'm just kidding. Okay, and the 5th of our 5 albums that make it to the shortlist for previewed albums. Convoluted. Anyways, this one is something that we both are really excited about. It's Intronauts' Fluid Existential Inversions. 9 songs on the new album, almost an hour's worth of material. This is set to be released 28th February on Metal Blade, which is their first album for this new label. Previously, they were on Century, right?
Yeah.
Right. The last album was in 2015, so it's like a 5-year gap almost. Right. 2015, the director of Last Things. They've got a new drummer. Alex Rudinger's doing session drums. He's not yet listed as an official member of the band, which is weird. And yeah, so far they've got one single out, which is called Cubensis, which was released around 3 weeks ago. And it looks like Intronaut's back in 120% operating capacity.
I was so happy to hear that, because like with a band like them, I mean, of course you have a sound that you expect from them, but yeah, man, I was very, very happy to hear that. I mean, I can't wait to hear. I mean, I know I've been saying this with the last few albums also, but this is the one I'm really, really looking forward to.
Yeah, it certainly seems very promising, and I already really enjoy the fact that it'll be an hour's worth of material, because for some reason the direction of Last Things just felt short, although it wasn't a short album, but it felt really short, right?
Okay.
Because it was just so good that kind of just, you wanted more after you heard the album. I'm interested. Cubensis hits off all the things that you would expect from an Intronaut single. You have your fluid style of playing. You have those varying time signatures happening all over the place. You have some fantastic drumming this time. Not that it wasn't fantastic on the previous albums, but they've got their sound and they're really honing it, perfecting it. And it still sounds like a trip that you take. Yeah, an oral trip.
These guys kind of know their sound, and they've kind of just like been. I mean, at this point, I'm not going to say that it's their peak, but it kind of sounds like. And yeah, man, the first time I heard Cubensis, I was like, whoa, these guys. And, especially since it's been 4 years, right? Since you've heard anything from them, new from them. So, yeah, man, I'm glad they're still on track, if I may say so.
So here it is, in case you haven't heard it yet. Here is Cubensis. So that was Cubensis, that was from Intronaut. And now let's move on to Pure Speculation. Pure Speculation for 5 artists who we've kind of heard news or rumors about.
Oh,
That
they've
they are hitting
confirmed
the
also.
studios. Some of them have confirmed that they are hitting the studios. But so far, there's no details revealed on the album. Right? So starting off with Protest the Hero. Tracking for album number 5 finished in November 2019 because on Facebook there was a post that said, "It feels glorious to report that tracking for LP5 has finally been completed, where it all began at Jukasa. This record has been an insane labor of love spanning the last 2 years, but she's finally in the bag and off to mix. We spent the last few days tracking live keys, quartet and acoustic geats. Wow,
Yeah.
okay. Live in this beautiful room. They also included lots of violin.
Yeah.
I don't know, have you seen that video?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like Protest the Heroes taking this lovely...
Prog trip of sorts.
No, they were always prog, but taking a non-guitar approach to
Yeah, I
metal
Like, so the thing is,
in some way, or at least there'll be a lot of hints of it.
I still remember listening to Kizia when it came out. And
Yeah, Kezia and Fortress, both excellent albums.
yeah, at that point, from what I've heard stories, they couldn't play that stuff live. Kizia, it took them few years to like hone their skills to kind of
Be
play
able to
that
pull it
live,
off
yeah.
live.
But yeah, man, I mean, Protest the Hero, again, I lived in Canada when they were kind of taking off, and there was a lot of hype around them. Everyone was kind of into them. But I'm very glad. I mean, did you like Pacific Myth?
I haven't heard Pacific Myth.
Okay, that was a pretty interesting way they went about releasing it. So I'm actually more curious as to what they're gonna do, because they did a whole crowdfunding thing and stuff like that.
They did that entire fund. They went independent and then they asked people to give them money.
Yeah. So
That's a bad way of saying it, but yeah, that's what they did.
So I'm very curious to know actually what they're going to do this time around, because finally they all ended up putting it on streaming and stuff like that. But for the
Yeah.
longest time, it was just, with people or they did the single by single approach.
They did
also
a
to it.
single by single approach, and Pacific Myth just ended up being a collection of all those
Yeah.
singles, which is why it
So-
was put together as an EP and not even as an album.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to know what they're going to try and do this time around. And
So here's the thing for me: is like Protest the Hero. When Kezia and Fortress was released, at that time it kind of helped me get into that genre of sorts, and then I stopped caring about Protest the Hero because there were so many other bands who took the ball that Protest the Hero served to them and just went running with it. And now I really don't know if Protest the Hero will be able to tickle my jollies.
there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out. So let's wait and watch and see what happens. Next up, the mighty Mastodon. Mastodon are, once again, their rumors abounding. Bassist vocalist Troy Sanders has said, and I quote, "Through November, we've been in Atlanta sitting through ideas. We are always moving forward." I mean, the last album was Emperor of Sands, which was released in 2017. So it's kind of the correct 3-year cycle as such to release a new album. This will be the band's 8th album if it actually gets released this year, or if they've actually started recording. What do you expect?
Let me put this onto you first. Did you enjoy Emperor of Sands?
Again, I didn't hear Emperor of Sands.
Wow.
So Mastodon to me peaked with Crack the Sky. That for me is the best Mastodon album. Then after that I got really intrigued. I loved some songs of The Hunter. But yeah, Mastodon, I get they're not metal anymore. That kind
and
of
that was the
vibe.
thing. I mean, if you take out the whole debate of whether Mastodon are metal or not, and you just listen to Emperor of Sand, I loved the album. I enjoyed it just as,
I think Mastodon make really good music, and they've gone on to say that they weren't feeling metal.
yeah,
Previously.
that's that whole thing, correct.
Yeah, and honestly, it's still heavy. It's not as if it's not heavy. It's just not as heavy and not as progressive as the earlier albums were. Which is fine, man. Cut them some slack.
Yeah, I agree, man.
I'm excited. They really, I mean, you've heard did you hear the Stairway to Heaven cover they put
I
out.
can't remember. I think so. I can't remember
It's
now.
fan-fucking-tastic, man. It's so good. I just hope this time again the entire quartet is singing.
I don't think that's
because
gonna
they love they just sound fantastic doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait to hear what weird guitar melodies and weird bass lines and drumming all coming together and just
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to be a good release. It'll at least be something that'll get mainstream press.
Of
A lot
course.
of mainstream press.
Of course.
All right, from Mastodon we are moving on to another legend, Cannibal Corpse. Death metal legends have released the following statement. Thanks for all your support of Red Before Black and all our touring in support of the record. Time to enter the crypts and begin work on the next record. Keep supporting death metal in the new decade. Again, perfect timing, 3-year cycle. 2017 was the last album, which was Red Before Black. The new one, if it does get released this year, will be the band's 15th album. It's like clockwork, man.
Yeah, but that's kind of how Cannibal Corpse are, right? If you think about it, for them. If you think about it, you know exactly the sound. I mean, I know a lot of people hated on them for the production that Rutan did on their albums,
Yeah.
but man, no matter what, Cannibal Corpse are one of those bands. They release something, they put out something, they're gonna immediately
It's going to
get
be consistently good.
Yeah.
You know it'll be a great album. Okay, it may not be a great, at least it'll be a rock solid album. It'll definitely hit a 9 on 10, 8 on 10 or 9 on 10 easily.
I'm just curious to know as to who's gonna be on this album this time, because
Yeah, one of the guitarists had a weird falling.
yeah, so
a
we're not
weird time out. So at the moment, Eric Rutan's playing live guitars.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's gonna continue in the studio or what's it gonna be.
That'll
like.
be fabulous.
Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
of course. I mean, we both love Rutan.
Yeah, we both love Rutan. Shouts out to Rutan. Okay, next up, here's confirmation actually. Lamb of God released a clip on Instagram on the 1st of January this year that showed snippets of all the band members in the studio. Yeah, it will be the first record to feature new drummer Art Cruz, who replaces longtime Skinsman Chris Adler. This will be the band's 9th album, and it follows to 2015's Seven Sturm und Drang, which was very for me. I know you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm like, for those who've heard me say this earlier, I'm gonna repeat myself. I'm not a huge Lamb of God fan, but it was just
Neither am I, but weirdly enough, Lamb of God, that music makes for really good background work music.
or workout music, whichever.
Or
you-
workout music, exactly.
Yeah.
It's energetic throughout.
Yeah, and there's just something about like the whole rhythm guitars and stuff like that.
It's groove. It's
that whole
it's
groove.
old school groove
Yeah,
metal.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like I think it was Sacrament. I've heard Sacrament repeatedly just because of like the sound and everything. that
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gets
For
you.
me, that's Wrath, and for me, that's also Ashes of the Wake. But yeah, I really sincerely hope that this time around, Lamb of God. I mean, we've all heard what Chris Adler had to say when he quit the band officially, right? I just hope that has lit a fire under Lamb of God's ass,
I mean,
and they come out and pulverize people
Yeah, for me,
because they're capable of doing that.
for me, Strum, what also kind of added to it was just the whole story around it. You know, the whole thing that Randy Blythe went through in Czech Republic and stuff like that. And then, he comes with that. There's that whole thing about it, his experience filtering into the album and stuff like that. So that kind of made, and for me, I felt that album sounded way more sincere than the last couple of ones in a way.
Yeah, but it kind of just, missed the punch. I think my favorite song of it was the one that Chino Moreno guested from, Chino from Deftones. He guested on one track.
Yeah.
That was my favorite track from the album because of the sonical difference that Chino brought in.
Okay.
So yeah, surprise us, Lamb of God. And why not come back to India? You're always,
Welcome,
it's always welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to see them live. And of course, finally, the last band will come as no surprise to any of you Hornsub listeners. The one listener that's out there, Chuck. Again, thank you so much for doing that with us last week. But yeah, within last week, oh my God, Iron Maiden are supposedly doing
Scream for me.
something in 2020. This will be the band's 45th year. 2020 is the band's 45th year. It's Judas Priest's 50th year. Oh my God, right? Yeah, so a recent social media post by the band's longtime producer Kevin Shirley, who said that earlier in the year he had been in Paris working very hard on an unnamed but not very secret project. And social media evidence gathered by Italian side Maiden concerts that all 6 band members and their wives were in Paris as well at the same time earlier this year. That year, which is 2019. Photo Shirley posted of Guillaume Del Studios, where Maiden recorded Brave New World and the Book of Souls. Bruce Dickinson told a crowd in Oakland in 2019 that new Iron Maiden songs are coming sooner than you think. This will be the band's 17th album, and it follows 2015's Book of Souls, which was to me kind of a return to form for Maiden after A Matter of Life and Death and The Final Frontier, which was slightly weakish.
I mean, for me,
Put only in the context of Iron Maiden's vast discography, they still blow most of what's released just absolutely to smithereens.
I think for me, A Matter of Life and Death I really enjoyed it because that was the first time I saw them live, right? And them playing those songs, I was like, oh my God, this is the best
I enjoyed a
thing
couple
ever.
of songs of it,
Yeah.
definitely, like a lot more. But I've heard
Yeah.
that album countless
Yeah.
times.
That was
Yeah.
the thing, right? I mean,
True.
we bought the CDs.
Exactly,
and stuff like
yeah.
that. I think that was one of the few times that you actually had Maiden discography available in India the moment it released, right?
Yeah. That was also the time when in Bombay, at least, you had a Maiden tribute night, etc., etc. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think they did that for Book of Souls also. There was a show.
Yeah, there was a.
Yeah.
Damn it, I didn't know about this.
So, coming back, I mean, Book of Souls was good, but
Book of Souls was excellent. I loved the rawness of it.
I ended up buying the DVD edition also of it, like the CD DVD
Okay.
edition of it. I still have it at home. But yeah, man, I mean, again, Maiden's one of those bands. Like, if there's Cannibal Corpse for me, Maiden goes like way higher, a few notches. And no matter what they release, you're going to have to just give it a listen, if nothing else, right? And it's one of those bands that, I don't know, I'm kind of speechless when it comes to describing them because it just means so much.
Yeah, I absolutely get you. I'm honestly just waiting to see what will be the X factor, of sorts on this album, because last time it was a rejuvenation of Bruce Dickinson, right? And he spearheaded that album. Like, it almost seemed like the Book of Souls, or a lot of the songs on Book of Souls were Bruce's own, right? And let's see who's taking that mantle. Like, I would love more Adrian Smith songwriting. I would love that classical Steve Harris songwriting. I know Smith and Bruce like writing songs together. That will be awesome. And yeah, Yannick Gers may just come again and surprise us all. Yeah, why not? So,
And what's also very interesting is that British Lion, Steve Harris's project, is also releasing an album this year. So
hey, maybe they'll do a Merciful Fate and King Diamond and have British Lion open for Iron Maiden. or if Steve really wants to be petty about things, which he shouldn't be, get Iron Maiden to open for British Lion.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's like, I don't know, like, we kept saying last year, oh my God, what a year for metal. And just looking at these last 10 picks of ours, boy, we barely scratched the surface of 2020.
Exactly. So now let's actually scratch the surface of 2020 and get into a long list of sorts of artists who are releasing music or are scheduled to release music or have some rumor sites a buzz because they will be releasing music or they might be releasing music in 2020. So yeah, let's like get started. This will be really quick takes, and we'll be doing them in alphabetical order. Ace Frehley Origins Volume 2. Do you care about it?
Not really.
Whatever. Yeah. Likewise. Apocalyptica is back with something called Chell O.
Wow. This might be interesting. I don't know.
Gimmick way past its due. Annihilator with Ballistic Sadistic.
I actually liked the single. Right?
I liked one of their singles.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it has like a 50-50 ratio. So,
but I think we will be getting them on the pod.
Yeah, we should.
It'll be fun to talk to essentially what a band that is overlooked by a lot of people. Yeah. Excited about that. Anvil is back with Legal at Last. They continue the tradition of alliteration in their album titles.
I don't know. I mean, I might give it a passing listen. I'm not too kicked about it.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Body Count, Carnivore, that's going to come up this year.
I've not really heard a lot of stuff by them. I think
I've heard neither have I.
I think I've heard their covers
more. Their covers more than this thing. Yeah, same here. Next up, Bring Me the Horizon are apparently coming out with something again, which will be really quick because they just released something in 2019.
Question mark.
Question mark. Okay. British Lion, The Burning.
I know you're more excited about this one.
And that's purely because I think the first couple of singles are so much more better than the entirety of the first album.
Yeah, I mean, similar to what my thoughts are on Sons of Apollo, right?
Everything sounds neat. I think their issues have been worked out, etc., etc. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Why not? Carcass.
Yeah.
No album, like no information about the album yet, but they've apparently hit the studios.
I'm very excited about this, man. Very excited. I mean, I really liked Surgical Steel, so can't wait to hear an album from them now.
All right, Cynic.
Hi,
and
Paul.
This is a confirmed release because Seasons of Mist confirmed it. Like there will be new Cynic music. We just don't know when or what it will be.
And Paul also mentioned it.
Paul definitely mentioned it. He's like, yahan pe chaddi badi baitha hai abhi. Yeah, but Paul Masvidal, when we talked to him about Mythical Human Vessel, you can check back that episode by going to our archives, hornsupod.com. But yeah, he mentioned it in his, when we spoke to him back then too, that Cynic would be releasing new stuff.
I'd definitely be interested in something like this.
I'm a huge Cynic fan, so I'm definitely interested in it. Deftones. This was something I thought we were going to see in 2019, but we didn't.
Yeah,
so
this was part of our
part of our crystal ball gazing into 2019, and it didn't end up happening. And I think it will definitely see the light of day in 2020.
Yeah, I hope so too, man.
Yeah, I remember last year during our crystal ball, we spoke about how apparently this is going to be more guitar driven, because Stephen Carpenter is like taking the steering wheel of sorts out of Chino's hand for a while. But yeah, I still to this day really enjoy Koi no Yokan, as well as, you know, the previous couple of Deftone albums. Gore not that as much, but can't wait to see what happens this year.
Yeah.
Next up, an Indian band, a couple of Indian bands now, Dirge.
So
I didn't know they were releasing a new album.
Yeah, they are. And for those of you who've been following them on social media, I mean, primarily why they're on their list is, for those of you who remember, they were part of my top 10 last year. And they released a really good debut album. So this time round, from their social media lurking around, you'd see they've added Abhimanyu Mir on synth. I'm sure he'll be... I'm not sure if he's playing gigs, but I'm sure that he's recording with them. So waiting to see what kind of stuff they come up with adding an element of synth to their music.
Interesting. Godless finally getting around to releasing that album.
Yeah, shout out Abbas. After listening to the last episode, he messaged me saying, yeah, we are releasing. And
which is why you're on our long list.
Yeah, and so he's halfway through writing of their album, and considering how fast these guys are and considering they're going to be on tour, so I'm pretty sure they'll have some material out soon.
Okay, back to international waters. Gojira.
This will be
interesting.
Yeah.
This one will actually be interesting because Gojira have, I think in the 10s, they've kind of cemented themselves as one of the biggest metal acts in the world.
No two ways about that.
Yeah. So sonically, I love what they do. I thought the last album was brilliant, even though it wasn't as heavy as their previous albums were. But yeah, as long as they continue their now what is an iconic sound, right?
Of course.
That groove proggy metal with. And yeah, I just can't wait to see what will be the next big scrape or weird guitar trick that they do on it. I am a sucker for that. Back to Indian territory, Gutslit.
Gutslit have been putting out recording updates for a while now. Not sure where exactly they're in the recording phase or when it'll be released. But then again, they're going to be doing a tour later on this year, so definitely they'll have.
Yep, we'll actually have more information on this album and what Gutslit have been up to, etc. Because next week, hint, I think we'll have the Brutal Sardar and the boys on the podcast.
I don't think we need to say anything more.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Okay, coming back on top, Ihsaan will be releasing an EP this year, which is called Telemark. I think he's got one new single off it already.
Yeah, the singles
sounds as good as Ihsaan music is. So yeah, let's just move on. Ne Oblivious Caris. Chuck, you're going to be one happy man because Season of Mist has confirmed that there will be new music out in 2020 by this band, by this Australian band.
Yeah, I liked the earlier stuff. The last album was a bit of meh for me.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see what they're up to.
All right, Nine Inch Nails.
I'm excited, man. Anything that kind of Trent does kind of excites me. Trent Reznor, he's kind of pioneered the sound in a way. So, yeah, man, definitely curious to know what he's up to.
Okay, I'll just wait and watch. Ozzy Osbourne is back with Ordinary Man.
I kind of didn't mind that single he put out.
It's not a bad single.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised he manages to record.
I'm surprised he manages to get into the recording studio.
I'm surprised he's just doing this.
Yeah.
Paul Bearer. There's some rumors about Paul Bearer hitting the studios once again.
They're in the studio. I think they're done recording. That's the
wow.
I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So I'm very excited. Their last album.
Paul Bearer's been one band so far. First 3 albums have been top fucking notch.
Yeah.
All 3 albums of theirs have been top fucking notch.
Yeah, that last album of theirs just
Heartless was beautiful. Yeah.
And again,
they kind of spearheaded this whole like old school doom kind of genre as such, right?
Yeah. So
Paul at least they were on the front faces of that. So yeah, new Paul Bearer, definitely something to look out for. Pacifist, they're coming out with a new EP. Should be released in February.
Oh wow! Okay,
January and February.
Okay,
nice. Apparently that's the thing. 2 songs on it only though, and I still like last week. I still am going to say that song Resolve. I think. Oh my god, that's going to be something to really look out for. Poppy.
This is an artist I've been only exposed to thanks to Animesh.
She signed on to Sumerian, man.
And that's a label I don't really follow. No surprises.
So Poppy is this... Poppy, I got introduced to Poppy thanks to wrestling once again. WWE NXT kind of used it for some of their themes or some of their show openers, etc. Purists will definitely hate it because it's not metal. I mean, I'll go out.
She's a North American version of baby metal.
I don't think she's a North American version of baby metal because baby metal is doing its own thing, but Poppy is essentially a pop star using metal sounds to construct songs, which is not what baby metal does. Baby metal actually is metal fused with pop, which is a different thing.
For the same audience, I feel.
I don't think it's for the same audience. Whatever. I think this one. I think this will be one of the. It'll be a sleeper hit with the metal community.
It'll be one of those guilty pleasures, basically. You're saying.
Oh no, it won't be. It will definitely be a guilty pleasure, but I think more people will come out and say that they like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't be like if you're like, listening to NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
Got it.
Those are guilty pleasures, not mine. Septic Flesh are going to be releasing something this year.
I've not really been following the band.
likewise. Soul Stuffer.
I
really
liked.
liked. Yeah, I like Soul Stuffer. I think they do a good job of just giving you a sonic soundscape that lets you tune out to that. Tune out, zone out.
Yeah.
I'm expecting something like that from them. Static X are still going to are still touring, and with a stand-in or a fake Wayne Static. They are doing a new album called Project Regeneration, which is apt because this will be the first record without Wayne Static. Let's see what happens there. Stone Temple Pilots are back this year. They're going to be putting out something called Perdida.
Who's on vocals?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Wow, I'm just surprised they're still continuing, but okay.
Yeah. Here's something that's cool. Takatak.
Yeah, from Pakistan.
Takatak from Pakistan.
And thanks to Keshav
for
Kayaba from introducing us to them. And yeah, I think it's high time we get those guys on, man.
Yeah, we need to get them on the podcast, and they need to release a bloody good album because 2018's album wasn't bad.
Yeah, but like you got a preview of what they're coming up to, and they've put out a teaser for their single that's coming out soon. So yeah, boys, if you're listening, let's talk.
The Ocean.
I really liked the first part of the album that they released. I'm not gonna attempt to say the name because I suck when it comes to such stuff. But yeah,
Phanerozoic.
Yeah,
part 2.
I'm wondering. I mean, is it going to be like a continuation, like part 1, part 2? If you play them back
it's
to back.
clearly in the name. Part 1,
yeah, but I'm
part
saying
2.
like in terms of sonically.
Oh yeah, maybe it'll just be a sequel.
Yeah,
it is a sequel.
Let's see, but I'm really looking forward to what they have up their sleeve.
Yeah, wishing for them to come back to India above the habitat.
I hope maybe now Antisocial or even like an open air, because that's the kind of audience they need to play to here, man.
Okay. The Riot Peddlers' Strength in Numbers will be released by the end of January. That's my cheap plug out of the way.
No, and I mean, see, this is one of the perks of being co-host. But yeah, trust me, guys, keep your pants on, because
oh, we're going to blow your pants away. Too much expectation. Anyways, Tombs is coming back with an album this year.
I haven't heard them in a while, to be honest.
Strongman metal is what I call them. Will Jharta, to round off our list. Will Jharta back, or will be coming back with Chaos 2.
I saw the promo for this, I think. But I don't know, man. Are they going to still gent or tal, as they call it? We'll only find out soon.
It'll stick to that soundscape. I mean, anything that's deviating from that soundscape, if done in a great manner, will make headlines.
Yeah. And metal sucks headlines.
Definitely. All right. So that was a long list of quick takes. And with that, we've wrapped up, at least 30 artists whose albums or whose music we're looking forward to in 2020. That's a lot. Yeah. It also kind of gives you a small preview of the artists that we'll be trying to get onto the pod this year. And yeah, if you've got any thoughts on artists that you are looking forward on Horns Up, or artists whose music you are looking forward to in 2020, why don't you hit us up at hornsuppod.com, HORNSUPPOD.com. That's the one website where you need to go to leave us your messages and try and get us to hear what you have to say. Trust me, we still don't bite. Even after 1 year, we still don't bite. All right, Peter. I think it's time to end this one right here.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yep. And lots of stuff to look forward to. Let's just hope 2020 delivers on some count.
Yeah.
All right. Horns up.
Horns up.